on and do a quick live video. I actually was going to do this at home. I had the tripod set up, but it is such a nice day out here, and I have my little assistant down here. And so I thought I would just take a walk with William the dog and hop on and talk a little bit about this Simandl 30 Etudes project that I've been for kind of the last 6 months, 7, 8 months, something like that. I got the idea to do something related to the Simandl Etudes from Frank Diaz, who is a professor of music education at Indiana University, but is also a bass player. And Frank and I were just spitballing ideas for videos, and several of the videos I've done the last 6, 7 months actually have come from him. But one thing he said is, "Why don't you think about doing something on the Simandl 30 Etudes?" I thought that was a great idea, and I've done projects like this before, where I take every single piece from something and put it up on YouTube. I did that in 2017, maybe, with the George Vance Progressive Repertoire, and went through those great volumes and recorded everything, and I hadn't done that in a while, and I forgot what a task it is to do a whole bunch of etudes or short pieces or something like that. But it was really fun to dig into these Simandl 30 etudes, and it made me sort of become enamored with them again. I hadn't really thought about them much over the last couple of decades, but they were some of the early pieces that I learned when I was starting on bass. My first bass teacher, in addition to the Simandl method, which I'm not such a fan of, I find it a little boring, or maybe more than a little boring, he had me work on these 30 etudes. And the first etude is pretty simple. Definitely, I remember talking to Galen McCormick about this recently, put out a podcast with her, and she's got a great edition of the 30 etudes annotated out that came out earlier this year. And some of these etudes definitely feel like they're clearly from a specific piece. She mentioned that Die Meistersinger prelude or overture is very similar to the first Simandl etude. I agree. But as soon as you get past the first couple, they really start to become, and the first couple are charming too, but I find, especially after you get into like etude 4 and 5 and beyond, some really nice melodic material and some really fun rhythmic material, and a lot of low position work, a lot of E string and A string, first position, half position, and it's just really good material for developing the bass register, the register that we use as classical bassists, as jazz bassists. None of the etudes go too high. They, I think the highest note, I think, is an A above the G harmonic on the G string. Maybe there's a B flat. I don't think so though. So they're definitely low to middle register etudes, and they're very cool. Also, one more thing that I think is particularly cool about the Simandl, the 30 etudes, is that there's this piano accompaniment that somebody did, and if you know who did it, watchers of this video, leave a comment, because Galen didn't know, I didn't know. I think I heard a rumor that Hertel did the piano accompaniment. Not sure. Anyway, that turns these etudes into concert pieces, which are very fun. And I got inspired as I was working on getting ready to record these. I got inspired to do my own edition of the piano accompaniments, and then to turn them into practice tracks. So I rolled all this up into this print edition. And by the way, this is all available on IMSLP, the print edition. There's a print edition of the Simandl 30 etudes, as well as the piano accompaniment. So you can pick those up and go to town. But I did my own edition that just came out today with fingerings or not fingerings, and then with this piano part. And I rolled it all up into this online course just about the 30 etudes. I go through and I teach each of the 30 etudes, and then put together some piano practice tracks so you can practice along with the accompaniment, with the metronome, without the metronome. I've got the MIDI files in there so you can load them into MuseScore or Sibelius or Dorico or one of those programs and slow them down or repeat parts. And the piano parts are they're they add an additional layer of fun and musicality. And that's the one thing, maybe close this short video on that. That's the one thing that I think is so cool, or maybe surprisingly cool, about these Simandl 30 etudes. Because when I think Franz Simandl, I don't think necessarily musicality. That's not the first word that comes to mind. But these are great etudes, melodic etudes. Number 17 is probably the best known after the first couple of etudes, the Tempo di Polacca. That is a great ABA section etude and wonderful melodic material. The C major section in the middle, just a lot of fun. And the piano accompaniment adds another level. So that's probably it for this short video. I'm going to take this little guy for a little bit more of a walk after this. And thanks for checking this out. Feel free to leave any comments, and we'll see you in the